Okay, welcome everyone along. Now we're going to do my reviews for Friday night's action in the NHL. So there were 6 games on tap. The first game took place in Nevada, where we had the host team Vegas, and they were undefeated, taking on the 2-5 Chicago Blackhawks. I did predict that Vegas would get the victory, but evidently it was not meant to be. It took until overtime to decide a winner, and the Blackhawks finally ended the undefeated streak for the Vegas Golden Knights. So I'll take a look at the goal scoring summary. In the first about a minute and 35 seconds in, Pavel Dorofiev would get an even strength goal from Amadio and William Karlsson to make it 1-0. William Karlsson would then increase the lead with about 4 minutes into that period. An even strength goal from Shea Theodore and Brandon McNabb. Ryan Donato would then cut the lead into half, just under 7 minutes into the period. 7 minutes left in the period. An even strength goal from Perry and Kaiser. And then Connor Bedard would tie things up with just over 5 minutes to go to even the score 2-2, and even strength goal from Foligno and Vlasic. So there was no goals in the second. It took them to the third period to get 2 more goals, one each from both sides. Just over a minute into that frame, Tyler Radish would then increase the lead to 3-2 for the Chicago Blackhawks, and just under 9 minutes to go, Shea Theodore would then tie things up with Jack Eichel as the primary assist. In overtime, it took until just about 3 minutes into overtime on the power play, Philip Kurashev would then score to evidently give the Blackhawks the game winner at that point. So now the Blackhawks are now sitting at 3-5-0 on the season, and the Vegas Golden Knights are sitting at 7-0-1. So there are no longer any undefeated teams in the NHL. The next game took place in Raleigh, where we have the host team, Carolina Hurricanes, and they were playing host to the one team that has still yet to secure a win, and that is the San Jose Sharks. Final score was 3-0. Taro Teravainen would get a hat trick. All 3 goals came from him. He would first get a power play goal with just over 6 minutes into the period, assisted by Jarvis and Aho. He would then increase the lead to 2-0 with just under 5 minutes to go in that first. Even strength goal from Orlov and Chatfield. There were no goals in the second, and then just over 6 minutes into that third, he would get his third goal, assisted by Jarvis and Aho yet again. So 3-0 was the final from Carolina. I did predict that they would get the victory. They are now sitting at 5-4-0, while the Sharks, who are struggling after 8 games, are sitting at 0-7-1. So far I'm 1 for 1 on my picks from yesterday. The next matchup takes place in New Jersey, where we have the host team Devils, and they're playing host to the Buffalo Sabres. I did predict that Jersey would get the victory, and it was a high-scoring affair to say the least. 5-4 was the final. JJ Petirka would kick things off in the first, over 6 minutes into the frame, assisted by Joki Harju, and Owen Power, an even strength goal. Alex Holtz would then tie things up just about a minute and a half after that, an even strength goal from Luke Hughes and Michael McLeod. Tage Thompson would then increase the lead for the Sabres 2-1, just under 5 minutes to go in that period. An even strength goal from Tuck and Greenway. And Jesper Bratt would then score about 30 seconds after that. No primary assists on his tying goal. So it was 2-2 heading into the second period. Eric Hollow would then get a short-handed goal with just over 6 minutes to go in that period. No assists on his score. Rasmus Dahlin would then score with just about 2.5 minutes left in that period, assisted by Samuelson and Skinner. So it was all tied up at 3 heading into the third period. Jack Hughes would get a power play goal just over 2 minutes into that period, assisted by his brother Luke and Thomas Meyer. Dylan Cousins would then tie things up, just over 7 minutes to go in the frame. An even strength goal from Okposo, and then With just under 6 minutes to go in that period, Eric Hall will get his second goal of the game, an even strength goal from Ball and Marino. So 5-4 was the final from New Jersey. They are now sitting at 4-2-1 on the season, while the Sabres are sitting at 3-5-0. The next matchup takes place. Where are we? I believe in Washington, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, off to the capital city. Where we have the Capitals, and they played host to the Minnesota Wild. I did predict the Wild would get the victory. It took until a shootout to decide a winner, so it was that close of a contest. But unfortunately, they were not able to get the game-winning goal. So 3-2 was the final score. Marco Rossi would score just over 2 minutes into that first period, assisted by Foligno and Johansson. Tom Wilson would then get a short-handed goal from McMichael and Trevor Van Riemsdyk, which is about halfway into that period. Dylan Strome would then get a power play goal with just under 3 minutes to go for the Capitals to increase their lead to 2-1, assisted by Ovechkin and Kuznetsov. So it was 2-1 heading into the second period, where there were no goals. Took all the way into the third period, with just about over a minute into that third. Ryan Hartman would get an even strength goal, no assists on his score. And then no goals in overtime. Like I said at the start, it took into a shootout to decide a winner, where John Carlson would get the game-winning goal for the Washington Capitals. So 3-2 was the final score. The Capitals are now sitting at 3-3-1, while the Minnesota Wild are sitting at 3-3-2. Our next game takes place in Arizona, where we have the host team Coyotes. They were playing host to the Los Angeles Kings. I did predict that the Coyotes would get the victory, but unfortunately they just fell short. 5-4 was the final score. Take a look at the scoring summary. Matias Maccelli would kick things off just over 40 seconds into that frame, assisted by Bajustad and Moser. Mikey Anderson would then tie things up about 6 minutes into the period, an even strength goal from Byfield and Kemp. J.J. Moser would then increase the lead for the Coyotes about 2 minutes after Anderson tied it up to increase the lead to 2-1 for the Coyotes, an even strength goal from Schmaltz and Keller. Jake McBain would then increase the lead to 3-1 with just under 11 minutes to go in that period, an even strength goal from O'Brien and Stetcher. And then Sean Durzi would then increase the lead to 4-1 for the Coyotes. They actually blew a 3-goal lead about 35 seconds after that. Even strength goal from Sanford and Vejminka. So it was actually 4-1 for the Coyotes after the first. Drew Doughty would then cut the lead to 2-1 with just under 4 minutes to go in that second period. A power play goal from Kempe and Fiala. So it was 4-2 for the Yotes heading into the third and final frame. About 2 minutes into that period, Byfield would then decrease the lead to 4-3. An even strength goal from Kalikev and Spence. Kopitar would then tie things up around 7 minutes into that period. No assists on his goal. And then Doughty would get the game-winning goal with just under 2 minutes to go. An even strength goal from Moore and Anderson. So the Kings are now sitting at 4-2-1. And the Coyotes are sitting at 3-4-0. And the last game on Friday's schedule took place north of the border in British Columbia, where we have the host team, Vancouver Canucks, and they played host to the St. Louis Blues. I did think that the Blues would get the victory in this one, but unfortunately they got shut out. 5-0 was the final from Vancouver. Take a look at the scoring summary. So Quinn Hughes would kick things off with 8 minutes into that period. An even strength goal from Hronek. There were no goals after that. In the first, so it was 1-0 for the Canucks heading into the second period, where Quinn Hughes would get his second goal of the contest about 6 minutes into the second. An even strength goal from Besser and Miller. Philip Di Giuseppe would then score about 1 minute and 10 seconds after that. An even strength goal from Myers and JT Miller. And speaking of JT Miller, he would get a short-handed goal less than 2 minutes after that to increase the lead to 4-0, assisted by Elias Pettersson. In the third period, Ilya Mikheyev pretty much put this game on ice. About 6 minutes 35 seconds into that period, assisted by Elias Pettersson and Kuzmenko. So 5-0 was the final from Vancouver. The Canucks have now improved to 5-2-1 on the season. Sorry, 5-2-0 on that. I should apologize. 5-2-0 so far, and the Blues are back to 500. They are now at 3-3-1. As always, if you like this type of content, I do videos on the daily. Feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative at the same time. And as always, take care.